So I'm just gonna try to make this as quick as possible because this isn't a topic that I enjoy. It's pretty fucking scummy, actually. I already knew about it, but I recently saw a video by Not Eight Thoughts, if you know who that is. Um, he made a video talking about this patent system by Activision. And I already knew about it, but it just reminded me, and I'm finally making a video about it now because I'm just fucking tired of their bullshit. It's all these little things add up, and then I get reminded of this, and I just want to make a video about it. And I know it'll probably ruin my chances of getting in a partnership with them. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to partner with such a scummy company in the first place because I don't support them, and that's why I haven't bought a Call of Duty for the last 2 or 3 years. Besides the point. First of all, let me explain myself a little bit. I've been playing for 10 or more years. It goes by fast. At least 10 years. And I got good pretty goddamn fast. I'm not gonna lie. Within my first 2 months of ever playing Call of Duty, I was up to like a 1.6 KD. And as of now, my lowest KD is like a 2.8, and my highest KD is like a 3.6 or 3.7, something like that. And I know I'm not the best. There's plenty of people better than me, but I'm definitely better than the majority of people. And I think it would be fair to say that I'm a pretty fucking good player. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So, that being said, let's talk about this new patent. Or it's not necessarily new, but you get the point. Let's talk about it. So in this patent, there is a system which monitors you live in the game. If you are an above average player, it will do several things to make it harder for you. And if you are a lower skilled player, it will do several things to make it easier for you. But let's start with the higher skilled player first. If you are a higher skilled player, it will make it so your hitbox is bigger, meaning it's easier for you to die. The opponent needs to be less accurate to kill you. The opponent's hitbox will be smaller, meaning it is harder for you to kill them, because you need to be even more accurate than you realistically should have to be. They will change your damage modifier to make it so, for example, your bullets go from a 5.56 round to BB pellets. No exaggeration. You will notice it's like they are a bullet sponge or a marshmallow. It's bullshit. You are literally being put at a disadvantage because you are too good. You are being punished for playing the game long enough to get good, supporting the game long enough to get good. You're being punished because these players suck too bad. You are being punished because they suck. It just doesn't make sense. And on the lower skill player, it's the exact opposite. If you are sucking, your hitbox will be smaller, so it's harder for you to die because they have to be even more accurate. Their hitbox will be bigger, meaning you have to be even less accurate. You can miss more shots, but they'll still hit because their hitbox is way bigger than it should be. And your damage modifier will go into an effect as well. Your bullets will become even more powerful. And to me, this is not a fair system. In my opinion, it shouldn't even be legal because it's just complete rigged bullshit. And I loathe rigged bullshit. And the other part of the patent that I want to talk about is and I shit you not, the pay for easier lobby patent. If you spend money in the item shop, you will be rewarded with easier lobbies. And from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Because after you pay this scummy company money to get you into those easier lobbies, you will dominate those easier lobbies, which incentivize you to continue paying money to get those easy lobbies. And on the other end of the spectrum, again, these worse players who you are shitting on in these easier lobbies will look at you and the gun you're using, and they will want to spend money to get that gun as well. And then when they do, they will get the gun and the easier lobbies. Like basically confirming their suspicion. So it creates this circle, this cycle of basically consumer manipulation, pay to win bullshit. And I don't support that either. But this is what Activision is. I don't know how these things can be legal. It doesn't make the game isn't fun anymore. It's all predetermined with the team balancing. It's all predetermined with the skill-based matchmaking. And it's predetermined now, on top of all those other things, in the game, it will modify your character, your settings, your bullets, whatever, to make the matchmaking more balanced. Because apparently, everybody needs to have an equal KD because we're all equal and nobody's better than anybody, because if somebody does bad, they might cry and kill themselves. Well, if they're that weak, this might be wrong of me to say, but if they're that weak, maybe they should. Because most of the veteran players, most of the good players, like myself, we didn't have this protective system when we were the noobs. Me and these other good players, we didn't just wake up one day and be good at Call of Duty. We were noobs at one point too. And we learned. We learned from experience. We learned by getting our asses kicked by people who were better than us. That's the cycle. That's how you improve in anything in life. Literally every aspect of your life that you have improved, you improved it by learning from mistakes and failure. A fighter, he learns to get better by being taught by someone who is better than him, or getting beat and humbled by somebody who's better than him in an actual fight. In this new skill-based matchmaking system, you're basically going against carbon copies of yourself. And in boxing, you can't get better if you are only fighting yourself, because you can't discover your own weaknesses. Something else, somebody else with more experience has to expose those weaknesses for you so you can fix them. That's how anything in life improves. You learn from your experience. You learn from your mistakes and failures. This age of snowflake participation trophies, I hate it. I grew up in real life learning from my failures, and I turned out fine. Most people turned out fine. And if they didn't, that's called survival of the fittest. That's called natural selection. And it's the same thing in Call of Duty. Me and all these, majority of these good players, we got better by learning from getting our asses kicked, from experience and failure. So if we can do it, why can't these new generations do it? It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's not the only issue I have with Call of Duty. And this part of the video is just going to be me laying out the problems that I have with the whole franchise. So, on top of those scummy patents, these are some of my other issues. Team balancing. Even when I was just starting to get good at the game, I would be screwed by team balancing, and for the 8, 9, 10 years since, I am still screwed by the team balancing. I am so good at the game that it pairs me up with the worst players in the lobby, and majority of the time, if I don't drop 50, 60, or 70 kills, we're going to lose. In Search and Destroy, if I don't drop 20 or 30 kills, we lose. And like I said, I'm sure there's plenty of people better than me, but I am very good too. And I don't feel like people who are good, who learned, who put in time and effort and supported the game to get good, I don't believe we should be punished for being good. Just make the lobbies completely random. That's one thing. The other thing is skill-based matchmaking. Same concept, pretty much. I am tired of going against the same basically 20 people every single match. There's no variety. There's no randomness. It's the same shit every game. There's no improving. There's no getting worse because it's programmed to get you at a 1 win-loss and a 1 KD. And that isn't fun to me. And I'm sure for all the newbie players out there, it's wonderful because they never have to go negative. They never have to go 5-23. But I'm tired of the safe spaces, man. And it isn't like it's just lobbies full of people who are on my skill level. It's people who are on my skill level and abuse the overpowered pay-to-win meta weapons. For example, in Black Ops Cold War, my lobbies damn near 9 out of 10 times was going against 4-man or 6-man parties by myself. I have all the retards on my team spoon-feeding them score streaks, and every single one of them was using a Tech 9, an LC-10, and the Marshals. And if I want to have a fair shot, I would have to use those same guns as well. But that isn't fun. There's like 50 guns in the game. Using the same meta gun over and over every single game gets boring. So I want to be able to, like I used to, and I don't mean sweat my ass off, just casually hop on and use a pistol or a trashy SMG and just have fun. I don't need to drop a nuke with it. And noobs, you won't understand this point. But the good players, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you could just hop on any game at any time and use any gun and you would still have fun. You can't do that now because if you use any gun other than the meta, you're at a huge disadvantage. And because you are in your skill level, the odds are you're going to go against the same 6-man parties every game and they are all using those meta guns. It's just not a fun experience. And while I still am able to usually put up a fight, no matter what gun I use, because my skill is true skill, not, crutch weapons, I am still able to whoop their ass 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10. It's still not fun to have to go try-hard mode every single game because of skill-based matchmaking. I don't want that. And the noobs are under this false, weird pretense that back when there was no skill-based matchmaking, every single lobby was 4-man parties, 5-man, 6-man parties, trying hard with the best meta weapons against noobs. That wasn't the case. The lobbies were split up basically 70% completely random, and maybe like 20% you would have a competitive match. Like it would be a final score with a difference of only like 1 to 5 kills, really close. And then another 5% would be you getting your ass kicked, aka the learning period. And then the other 5% would be you doing the ass kicking. Basically putting into reality what you learned from getting your ass kicked. And that worked. It was fun. It was full of variety. And you could do whatever playstyle you wanted, whatever guns you wanted, and you would always have fun most of the time. But obviously another thing I had a problem with is the supply drop system, the item shop system. I don't support that pay-to-win bullshit. It's scummy. Don't really need to talk about it too much. Pretty straightforward and speaks for itself. Scummy practices don't need to be supported, and I don't support them. And we talk about the developers specifically. Infinity Ward, to me, is the most scummy. And definitely the most noob-friendly. Like, you think about all their titles without the blinded by nostalgia goggles. They're always pretty super fast time to kill and pro camper. They even branded it now. It's called Sentinels. It's just bullshit to help satiate noobs. It's very noob friendly, which it makes sense why they are Activision's favorite, because the most noob friendly games bring in the most cash. So I get it, but I don't support it. Sledgehammer is pretty much in the middle. I don't have much to say about them. And Treyarch is pretty much always the best, because they don't have super fast time to kill, meaning campers are at a slight disadvantage compared to these other games I'm talking about, because with more health, you can turn on a camper if you're good, and I did that quite often. Not to mention, the gameplay itself didn't really promote camping at all. unlike Infinity Ward's. And they really listen to their community far more than Infinity Ward ever did, and they support their games better than Infinity Ward ever did. Black Ops 3 was getting updates like even after Black Ops 4 launched. And I guess it makes sense why Activision always falls to Treyarch to pick up the slack. For example, Cold War, that wasn't Treyarch's year. Sledgehammer fucked it up, and they went to not Infinity Ward, but Treyarch to pick up the slack. And I think it's funny that Cold War is a better game than anything from Modern Warfare 19 to Modern Warfare 2, the one that came out last year. And it was rushed and scavenged and scrounged by Treyarch in a couple of months, or maybe it was a year, something like that. Very short amount of time. And they had Treyarch pick up the slack again for something involving Modern Warfare this year, or maybe it was Warzone, because they dropped the ball again. So Activision keeps remastering and rebooting and favoriting Infinity Ward because they produce the most noob or fentanyl-friendly games, which brings them the most money. And because Treyarch is the most trusted and reliable and most loved studio, they fall back on them to pick up the messes when these other studios fuck up. And it's pretty much just time to stop supporting Call of Duty. Like, we really gotta move on, like, from Madden with EA and all these other games. We as gamers, we gotta stop accepting these just scummy practices from these scummy companies. Not to mention, Activision is now shutting down free-to-play fan services like SM2 and Plutonium or whatever that other one's called. It's literally free. They're not making any money from it, and all it is servers so you can play these older Call of Duties without risking your IP address, your real address, or your account. But apparently Activision doesn't want that. They want you to pay full $60 price for these older games, laggy messes full of hackers, and they want you to risk all your personal information. It's just scummy. And not to mention all these games like Madden and Call of Duty, they not only are they scummy, but they release in such broken, buggy, messed up state every single year. So we really got to start standing up. Like, we really got to stop accepting this and start boycotting this, because they won't listen to your mouth. They will listen to your wallet. And too many of you noobs keep feeding them. And it's not going to change. For us real fans, us diehard fans, the good players, at least the majority of us, we don't have fun with these games anymore. And it's sad, because we really loved this franchise. And it sucks to see it be in this scummy, horrible, anti-good, pro-noob state that it is. But there's nothing that will ever change unless Microsoft buys it out. And I don't care if you're PlayStation or Xbox, though that whole system warfare is stupid. Like, you gotta have a tiny dick or just be the most useless scum on earth if you care about console wars. We're on the same side. It's us, the consumer, versus the greedy corporations. And Activision has shown that not only is it gonna not listen to us, but it's gonna keep doing what it's doing that we don't like and get worse. And that isn't gonna change. It hasn't and it won't. And the only chance that we have is if Microsoft buys it out and makes some changes, hopefully starting with these scummy patents that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And it might not happen, but that, at least it would be a chance compared to the non-zero negative bajillion chance that there is now. And there's no need for anybody who isn't on Xbox to worry about exclusivity on COD, because Microsoft already offered up all these 10-year contracts for COD, so you gotta get educated on this. Don't start crying about it, alright? In the end, we all want the same thing. We want Call of Duty to be good again, and fun again, and fair again. And as of now, Microsoft is the only chance. With that being said, Please excuse the bad footage quality in the background. It's just some random archived stuff I found from a past stream I did. Excuse this long and disorganized, incoherent mess of a rant I did. I hope you understood the points I was trying to make. It'll be better in the future because I am setting up my PC in the next few days. I'm recording this on my phone right now with my phone's microphone and a free editing software just so I can get this up fast. But I'd like to know some of your thoughts in the comments. I don't know. It just sucks. But I hope you understood and enjoyed the video.
Молодцы, разведчики. Hero, return to base.
Situation diffused.
This is the